You know, one of the things that we tend to do is say yes when really we mean no, right? So think about it. How many times has someone invited you to go somewhere and you're like, yes, you know, half-heartedly saying yes, and you don't necessarily mean it, but you kind of think it's the right thing to do, so you say yes. You know, there's things that someone's asked you to do, you don't want to do it, but you say yes. And we get into this habit of saying yes when really we mean no. And it gets to a point where it just becomes so natural for us to say yes, instead of no, that if we ever did pluck up the courage to say no, people kind of like looking at us like, oh my God, did she just say no? What is going on? Right? So this is what I wanted to explore a little bit detail, because really, when you figure out how powerful the word no is, I'm telling you, you will be freed from so much burden that you've placed on your life since, you know, years and years and years ago. So I'll give you an example of this. So one of my clients originally came to me because she wanted to advance in her career. She was going through a stage, she didn't quite know what she wanted to do for a job. She didn't really kind of know what her purpose was. She knew that she was good at some things, but she had a lot of setbacks, which is now kind of making her think that she's maybe not so good in that area. So after a few coaching sessions, we kind of got to the root of it. And actually, what she had was some issues with her self-confidence. She'd been knocked back a few times, and therefore that had impacted her ability to believe in herself and believe that she could achieve something. So in terms of her career, what she was looking for is for someone to say yes to her, right? Because if somebody said no to her, she would find that a kind of devastating blow. But what she didn't realise is, because she was not using the word no in her own life, she was saying yes to everything, she'd lost the opportunity to put herself first. She was saying yes to doing all of these things that took her away from being able to do the things that she needed to do for herself in order for her to grow as a person, to self-reflect, to figure out what it was that she liked, you know, to have these hobbies and either create new ones or explore existing ones, which would mean that she starts to get much, much closer to the things that she enjoys doing, and therefore could find a job, a career, a role, even a business that allows those qualities of hers and the things that she really enjoys doing come to light. And so after, again, a few sessions, we're kind of looking into self-confidence and that kind of thing. And really what she realised is the more she said yes to placing herself first, the more her confidence grew. But the reason that she didn't say yes to herself was because of the expectations that she had placed on herself. So by saying yes to everybody else, she had set these expectations that she must do this thing. You know, she must make sure that this person gets what I said that I would do for them. This person, I'm able to help them do this thing that I said that I would do. This person is asking me for this, that and the other. So I must do all of those things. And if I don't do any of those things, then I have failed. That is further from the truth. You're human. You can't be everything to everyone, right? So by putting all of these other people first and saying yes when really she didn't have the energy, the desire to do half of these things, it meant that she wasn't able to say yes to herself. And so this is a cycle that just keeps repeating itself always, on and on and on and on. We keep saying yes when we really mean no. And one of the things that one of my fellow coaches, Amrita, said just today, and I literally wrote this down, and I quote, she said, when you say no to others, you are saying yes to yourself. Like, that in itself, honestly, is quite a powerful thing to think about. You are saying yes to yourself by saying no to somebody else. Now, just think about that for a minute. And I use myself as an example. You know, me of yesteryear, someone would invite me to go out. I don't really want to go, but it's like the right thing to do to say yes. And then maybe if I've not managed to convince myself that I really want to go by that point, I will find an excuse not to go, right? Or I'll get there late, or the attitude and the energy that I'm bringing is a bit, I kind of don't really want to be here. And so if you think about all of the time, all of the effort, all of the energy that I've wasted by saying yes to something I don't really want to do, and then using all of that to get to a point where I feel like I'm forced to go to this thing. And whether I enjoy it or not is irrelevant. It's all the energy that I've expended, you know, being in a place that I don't want to be. And so actually, if I just said no in the first place, that whole situation has ended. It's finished. You know, there's a finality about the word no. And by saying no, it means I can now continue and move on and do other things with my time. And remember how valuable your time is, right? So instead of thinking about this event that you're going to be leading up to in 2 weeks and spending all your time thinking about and worrying about that and all this, that and the other, you could just be living life, right? So again, I want to come back to the power of the word no. No is a complete sentence. Right? We, especially in the UK, we are not used to that. We need explanations. Why, right? So somebody says no. I want to know why. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I'm asking you for something, my expectation is that you will do it. And so when you say no, it feels like a personal attack or a personal rejection. And I don't understand. So I want to understand. So my response is why? You do not have to justify it. And in fact, something that I've learned over the last couple of weeks is there is an acronym for, you know, leading on from no being a complete sentence. It's called JADE. So if you are saying no to something, you do not need to justify it. You do not need to acknowledge it. You do not need to defend it. And you do not need to explain it. No means no, and that is it. If someone is asking you to do something, you can graciously decline. You can say no, thank you. Or you can just say no. Because as I've said, no is a complete sentence. So the reason why I say no is powerful is because it is no longer about you pleasing other people. You are starting to take control back of your life and an ability to do the things that you want to do because you want to do them. Right? So there was an event online, some Zoom thing going on in a group that I'm part of. And I got invited and I said, no, thank you. That was it. It felt quite liberating for me, I must admit, but it was just a no. It's not something that I was interested in. So why am I going to use the little time that I have available to do the things that I want to do, doing something that I don't want to do? You know, we do this way too often. We do this way too often. And this transcends into all areas of our life. You know, whether it's for weight loss, whether it's in your job, whether it's in relationships, you know, no matter what it is, we always do the thing that we really don't want to do. And we try to make ourselves feel better for it by justifying it. But remember, you don't need to justify, acknowledge, defend or explain it. You just don't. No is a complete sentence. And so an example of this is, again, if we talk, say, let's talk weight loss for a minute. I'm trying to lose weight, right? And in my list of things that I'm trying to do is, let's say, eat healthier. I want to be moving more. I want to be getting fresh air a lot more as well. Let's just say these are the 3 things that I'm trying to do to better my health. Now, as soon as I say yes to something that conflicts with these three things, I'm saying no to myself. I'm saying no to my goals because I'm saying yes to something that doesn't benefit me. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't help me. So why am I saying yes? But because we're in such the kind of like autopilot when it comes to someone asking us to do something and we say yes, we're just in the habit of doing it, right? But what we need to do is break that cycle. We need to just start saying no. And you need to be empowered to say no. And this is one of the questions that came up in my group last week was around what do you do when you're with family? Like you're in a family situation and they know that you're trying to eat healthier and they want to just, you know, pump you full of food. You say no. Like you say no. Like that is the end of it. It is a complete sentence. And the reason that you say no is because any closer to your goals, right? you eating that food that you've already said that you don't want to eat is not going to help you get closer. You accepting alcohol when you've sworn that you're not going to be drinking alcohol is not going to help you get any closer. You constantly pandering to other people's needs over your own is not going to help you get closer. And it's the same when it comes to things like jobs. And again, I'm not saying this as a kind of way to chastise people, because this is the same cycle I've been through myself. You know, you're at work and you're getting ready to leave. It's 4:55. Somebody comes along and they're like, oh, you know, can you just do this? No. No, I can't. Because you know that if you start doing this next piece of work, you're going to be there until 6 o'clock and you're only supposed to be there until 5. But because we're concerned about our job, we're concerned about what the person's going to think of us, we're concerned about all of these things, we say yes. And that doesn't serve us, that doesn't help us, that hasn't now allowed us to go home and do something for, you know, what we were going to do with our partner, or it doesn't allow us to go and meet a friend, or it doesn't allow us to have me time. We're putting everyone else's needs above our own. So again, I just come back to the power of no, and hopefully you can start to see why saying no is actually a powerful thing, not a negative thing. Because you're being very clear about what your boundaries are. You're being very clear about what you will stand for and what you won't stand for. And so what I'd like to do with you now is have an exercise where we start looking at what does no and yes mean in your own world. Because remember, when you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself, right? So if you've got a piece of paper or anything like that, just pull out a piece of paper or use your phone, whatever the case might be, and get a pen, whatever, and start looking at this now. So bearing in mind that when we say no, we are deciding that we will not be bound to anybody else's expectation of ourselves. We in our own mind have a clear vision about what it is that we want to do in life and where we want to go. And therefore, when we make a decision as to whether or not to accept or reject something, it's based on what will bring us closer to fulfilling that life goal, that life dream, or whatever it is. Okay? And if you look at it in that way, it really is a lot simpler. With most things, it all sounds really simple in terms of theory, and again, in application, it's a bit difficult. But yeah, if we start looking at this now, let's just say, what I want you to do is make a list of everything that you want for your life, right? Just one by one, anything that comes to mind. We'll just spend a couple of minutes on this. Just write down everything that you want for your life. Your big dreams, your big vision. You know, do you want the relationship? Do you want children? Do you want, you know, your own business? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to, you know, be I don't know, start sewing? Do you want to be able to ride a horse? Like, it doesn't even matter what it is. Whatever that is for you, whatever that looks like in your life, I want you to start writing that down. And if you're watching this video, what I want you to do is in the comments just put #goals, right? #goals. Because this is what we're working towards, and this is what we're going to prioritize over everything else. And we're going to prioritize that over everything else by utilizing the power of no. Okay, so you've got your list of things that you really, really want for your life. So you've got could be material things such as a car and a house. It could be other things, you know, whatever that is for you. You've written down everything that you are saying yes to. Okay? Everything that you are saying yes to is in this list that you've just written. And because this list contains everything that you're saying yes to, it automatically creates your list of everything that you are going to say no to. So in your mind, if you say, let's say for example, you are wanting to study to become a doctor, right? That could be one of your goals. You want to study to become a doctor. Now, if somebody is inviting you to start a new online course because it's free, what are you going to say? no. Right? Say it from the gut. Right? No. And we're not saying be mean about it or be forceful, but you have to commit to that word. You have to commit to what that word means. Because by saying no to this distraction, you are saying yes to fulfilling your dreams of being a doctor. You're at a family event and somebody is offering you, let's say, this high fat meal, whatever it is. You know it contains a lot of fat. It's not really part of your diet anymore. You're eating a lot more cleaner, wholesome foods. This doesn't align to that. What are you going to say? No. So when you're getting to this part, I want you to be hashtagging no's. Like, I want you to get used to saying this. You're going to say thank you, but no thank you. Or I graciously decline. Or thanks, but I'm not able to eat that. Or just no. Because remember, no is a complete sentence. And so by doing this and constantly reviewing your yes list, you're basically saying that everything that doesn't allow you to move towards the things that are on this list are automatically a no. In addition to just being about the goals that you have for yourself, it's also just about protecting your own time. Saying yes to an event, you don't really want to go. Why go? Say no, and get used to saying no and be polite in saying no. And don't have any attachment to what happens when you do say no. Because remember, when you are harnessing the power of no and you're using that in your world because you understand that it's going to free you and allow you to take action in the other areas of your life that will bring you joy, happiness, peace, and all of those things, other people may not understand. And so they may feel, there's something going on because you're all of a sudden they're hearing the word no from you often. And I've been through this. I know what that's like. But I'm sorry, it's not my problem. That doesn't align to the things that I'm trying to do for my life. And therefore, I am saying no. And it's okay. And the more you practice it, the more you use it, the more you'll get used to it, and the more you'll realize that it then frees you up to remain inspired, to remain driven and ambitious about wanting to do things for yourself. These are some of the reasons why we don't have energy to do the things we know we want to do that are going to benefit us, is because we spend too much time doing the things that we don't want to do. Right, and I think I've used this quote before. Amazing coach Gary Marler has said, I only do the things that I want to do, and I don't do the things I don't want to do, even if it gets me what I want. Right? This is the goal. This is what we want to move to. We want to move to a place where we are doing the things that we want to do. End of. And it starts by saying no. Because once you understand and you're saying no to things, you are saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to your dreams. You're saying yes to your goals, yes to your desires, yes to just being you, and not having to put on a front for anybody else. So I just wanted to share this because it's just been such a kind of light bulb thing for me over the last couple of weeks. But today especially, it's just been really mind-blowing stuff. So I'm hopeful that benefits you, because I think harnessing this is beneficial in any area of your life, any area, because it's about redefining the boundaries. And you have to just be aware that when you redefine boundaries, not everybody is going to be happy. So know that your yes list is the reason why you are doing it, and that is going to be more important than anything else. And so if people are too uncomfortable about the version of you that likes to say no, that's on them. It's their thing to deal with. Detach yourself from their feelings of it. Be there when you want to be and when you can be. But when you don't, just be honest with yourself and them that it's not something that you're interested in doing or you're not able to do. Okay? So I hope that this has helped you in some way today. And I hope that this inspires you in some way like it has me. Honestly, I've just been like a giddy school child today. Just like, this is so amazing. But it really is powerful stuff. And I think the more we start to look inwards and figure out how we can overcome all of the fears and anxieties and worries and concerns, and what does this person think of me, how are they going to react, and you know, all of these kind of things, the more we can just face them head on and dispel them, you know, and really focus on what is a reality, because most of these things that we consider are just thoughts. They don't exist. We just make such a big deal out of them. They feel like they've manifested in real life, but really they haven't. Okay, so we just need to start changing our thoughts, and that starts by you being committed to what you want to do and saying no to anything that won't allow you to fulfill that.